Hi guys, and welcome to another vlog. This one is going to be about some work I'm going to be doing on the van today. The time now is 4 o'clock. I've not given myself as much time as I wanted, but today, or this evening, I'm going to make a start on fitting some electric windows to the van. I've got a kit that came yesterday, really happy with it. It's from Sesame. It came from eBay. They sent it next day. I ordered it on Wednesday. Really happy. It's come in this white box. Now these kind of things, when I open them up, is a mixture of excitement and kind of confusion and the realization that I've got to fit it. Quite a standard box, but when you open up, there are a lot of things in here. A lot of wires. Comes with instructions, but when you start looking into it, there is a lot of stuff to fit. It looks all quite nicely made. It's all been fitted in these nice kind of conduit to protect it. You've got both sides, nice connectors, fuse holders included. So looking really good so far. Here's your motors or your regulators to fit straight on and replace the existing winders. Comes with a screwdriver, Torx bit, which you need to take the door cards off. Switches to go obviously in the door cards, and it does also come in the instructions with some templates that you can use to put on your door cards and mark where you want to cut them. That's about it really in there. The only other thing that's come with this is one that comes with an automatic module which does automatic closure. So if I get out the van and lock the doors but one of the windows are down, it will sense that and automatically put the windows up for me. It will also mean that I can use the buttons as a one touch, so if I just touch it and let go, it will automatically continue opening or shutting that window until it gets to the bottom. And it does have a safety feature in there as well. It's meant to stop if it hits an obstacle. Sounds brilliant. I thought, yeah, I'll go for that. Sounds a lot better. In the picture you saw this little tiny box. I thought no worries, that'll be easy to fit. Now when you open it up, you're greeted with the module, which looks absolutely fine, and then you've got this many wires just to fit that module, so it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. I'm going to have to fit a switch as well to cut that auto closure system off. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to have to get some switches to go in the front, probably ones that will fit in the spare slots in the T5 dash. The reason I want that switch there is when we're camping in the camper van, because we have the wind deflectors on the front windows, we do often leave a gap in those windows if we're on a campsite, just to get a bit of fresh air in the van. It's great having the wind deflectors there because it means if it rains in the night, you don't get any water coming in the windows. And obviously if we have the auto closure system on and I lock the van at night, which I do, it will just shut those windows up and kind of close that gap that we want. So I'm going to have to fit some kind of system that we can temporarily bypass that auto closure system via switch when we don't want to use it when we're camping in the van. So first things first, I've got to get the door cards off. There's 4 Torx screws, I believe. There's 3 on the bottom, and I think there's 1 on the side. And we also need to remove the door handles. There's 2 screws behind that, the inside handles, and we're going to use just a normal screwdriver, I think, behind those to do that. Get the door cards off, see what we got to deal with, and then go from there. Right, to remove the door handles, these here, you kind of just prise them underneath, and they lift up around. It does prise from the bottom. It turns out Matey Boy loves his grip fill as well, so there are 2 little holes in the bottom of this handle you can just push a little tool into, and it's meant to release the pressure and take the handles off. From what I understand is they never come off easy. Sometimes you just break the handles, so bear in mind that when you do this you might need to purchase a new set of handles for the doors as well. I'm probably going to have to do the same as Matey Boy, to be honest, and glue these back on. The one on this side was solid, so his trick did work. although it is a bit over the top. I've got the door card off now. One thing I forgot to mention to you is to remove the handle from the window winder. All you have to do is get something behind it and push this piece of plastic down like that. Once he's moved down, it'll pull straight off. You can see on the back, this bit clips down a nut, which releases it. All I'm going to do now is remove these 3 bolts. Pull this out of the way. When you take the door card off, you will have to disconnect this handle, which is operates the internal door lock or the handle to get out, and there's also a multi-connector to disconnect. So now I'm going to take this off, and in regards to routing the cables from the electric windows, they're either going to go through this grommet here or this one here. And then eventually end up going through this one, coming up behind the dash. Going to be wired in underneath the dash here for the power, and I also need to run a cable to the other side of the door, the other kind of the van to where the door is there. Obviously to get the other switch to reach there. So I'm going to get on with that now. Take this off, fit the other one. Let's see how we get on. Forgive the background noise. I've got the heater in the van because it's raining, it's a really cold day, and I'm using it to get a bit of heat coming out the van while I'm working on it, so it's full bore. That's all done now, so these wires are up here waiting to go onto the switches. One obviously will control this motor directly. There's no instructions saying which way you need to connect the green and the blue wire to what colour on the motor, but it doesn't matter because if it goes the wrong way, all I have to do is change the connection on the switch and it will fix it. Basically got it through this grommet. I was originally going to run it through this grommet, hence I made the hole, but when I fill behind it, that is where the glass is going to be going up and down, and the more cables I've got going through here, the more chance I'm going to catch something on that glass, so I'm bringing it up through this one instead. All I need to do now is remove the trim panels from underneath the van. There's about 3-4 screws under this one. Do the same the other side underneath the glove box. And then just start trying to feed the cables here through this bit here now. Bring them out the other side. Run them down to the other door and pretty much do exactly the same procedure on the door. Remove the door cards, get the wires in place, get the new electric motor on there. So these motors I've worked out, they only fit one way. You can't fit the opposite one on this side, so this one ends up looking that way. Fits on there perfectly. Done up tight now, so should be it. See how we get on the other side. I've got the cable over to the passenger door now, so it's going to be just the same kind of thing that I did on the other side. When it comes to routing the cable underneath or through this centre column here, you should be able to put your hand in, because it's quite tricky, you should be able to put your hand under the driver footwell and feel two kind of routes. Don't be tempted to try and take the route closer towards the back of the van. It does feel like it would go through there, but if you try and push it kind of up to the top and around the back, it will drop down out of this space here, and you should just be able to grab hold of it and then sling it up underneath this panel. Another thing I didn't mention, to remove these gaiters, don't be tempted just to pull on them. They will break the little bit of plastic behind it. If you just literally push it in towards the front of the van, then it will pull out. There's a little clip there. Once that bit's come off, you can slide it towards you, and then they just drop off. So, going to be much the same on this side now. Going to remove this handle here, and then get the door card off. Run this cable into here, get the motor on, and then from that point onwards, it's just going to be a lot of wiring, and then probably fitting the switches to the door cards. Good morning, it's the next day now, and I'm continuing to fit the electric windows. So the next job is to fit this module, which is to do with, like I said yesterday, the closure module, which will allow me to have one touch button control of the windows, so automatic down and up from just one press, and also something that will lock the windows automatically, or shut the windows automatically when I lock the door. I need to get a switch to put into the dash to bypass it. I found a 2-pole single throw switch which will allow me to disconnect the sensor from the remote lock-in for the closure and the up movement of the window and the down movement of the window. The module has two because it has a memory built in, and it will remember up to about an hour, I think, or sometime around that, the position of the electric window is at. So if I have the window half down, I get out the van, lock the door, it should go up, and then when I get back to the van, I think it's as long as it's still within an hour, 40 minutes or something like that, it will remember the position I had the window when I locked the van, and it will automatically lower it to that position. So it needs both a signal for when the van's shutting and a signal for when the van is opening. So I do need a double pole switch. I need something that will break the circuit for both the lock-in signal and the unlocking signal. So I'm going to fit one of those switches into the blanking plate, but I'm not going to do that today. Now there's two options with this. I can either run the wire all the way through to the passenger side, which means I need to extend 4 wires and crimp them, and obviously cut them and run them through, and then put new ends on them to get into that side. That does mean I've got to run wire all the way underneath the dash again, and I have put some of the panels back on, but it will mean that the one touch will work on the passenger side. The other option is just to fit it on this driver's side, which means I'll have one touch operation of the buttons on my side, and on the passenger side. So I've not really decided, I made up my mind what I'm going to do yet, but either way I'm going to have to run these cables. You need 4 wires going to each motor. You've got to cut the wires that I joined up yesterday, annoyingly, so I'm going to have to undo a bit of the work I did yesterday. Put some spade connectors on these so I can join into the connections that are already on the ones that have come with the kit, and try and get this thing fitted. So there are quite a lot of wires. There's a wire that goes to the alarm as well, but I don't have a clue what that does. It's called a bypass. I'm going to look in the instructions and try and make sense of it. But yeah, the next job is running this tangle of wires from underneath the van, underneath the footwell, above the driver footwell, into each side of the door. So I'll catch up with you when I've done that. Right, we're slowly getting there now. Sorry about the wind noise, it's horrendous today. Keep on getting the door blown into me. So I've got some of the wires through from the control module. It's quite simple. The white and red are the control signal for the central lock-in, which tells the module when to put the windows up and down. I've cut this insulation off here, and the 2 thin wires, the brown and the white and purple, go to this connector, which are for the remote central lock-in, so that will tell it when to put the window up and down. So I've got to join these, tee these into this one here in a minute. The blue, two blue wires you can't see because I've joined them, but you've got two blue wires coming as well, a blue and a red. That goes to the motor. You can tell they go to the motor because they're a lot thicker than the orange wires, which means they're going to draw more current through them easier. They're not going to burn out, and they're going to actually put the windows up and down. And the two orange ones, which I've joined onto these blues, that is going to be going to the switch to tell the module when to put the windows up and down. These are a lot thinner. I can't for the love of me tell what wire controls the motor going up and down, what polarity is going to come through and do what, so I'm going to leave everything disconnected. I'm going to connect one thing at a time and just work out by pushing the button at the top and locking the van what does what, which way to connect these around, and how it works. Why I've got the door off, there's a big hole here. Someone has been here in the past and obviously lost the grommet. I'm going to try and fix some sound deadening on this panel, just to take some of the road noise out, cover up these holes, try and fill up the hard made in this grommet a bit, and just continue running this. And then probably now I'm going to run the one down to the other door, do the same on there. I'm just going to crack on with that now, and I'll catch up with you once I've done all this and just see how it works and what the next step is. After this, I'm probably going to go inside and cut the slots in the door, so I'll catch up with you in it there as well, and you'll see how that gets on.
Right, all I've done here is I fitted the templates that come with the kit. They're quite simple to fit, you just cut them out of a bit of paper. As you can see, I've already done this side. I'm quite happy with how it's gone. I've lined the door cards up together, what I did when I stuck the templates on anyway, so that I know that both sides of the van are going to be roughly level when you look at them, otherwise it will kick in my OCD. Bit unconventional how I cut these. I tend to do plastic trims like this with a soldering iron. I tend to cut out the shape, kind of melt through with a thin tip. Once that's out the way, I simply use a knife just to clear up the hole. You can see all the grip filling these handles here, which I'm going to have to do something about when I put back together. But yeah, that's it, that's them fitting. I'm going to continue cutting this one now, get the spacer in, and then it's back on the vans to fit the switches through.
Few days later now, and I've been using the electric windows in the van now for about a week. They've been really good, they work really well, not had a single issue at all. I did have issues with the windows being a bit stiff. It was always like it with the winders. Pretty much ever since I fitted these kind of wind deflectors to the window, so I did have to go and get some spray to lubricate those seals and make them a bit easier, because they were struggling a bit with the electric motors. Top tip, if you want to get something to do that, get some silicone lubrication spray, not just normal penetrating oil spray, because it will make it all sticky and greasy. The silicone stuff is semi-invisible once it's gone on there, and it is designed for kind of window seals and sticking parts like that, so that's made a massive difference. The battery is a bit weak on this van, and the engine isn't running, so it's not going to shoot up and down as quickly as it would normally. If I just literally push the down switch now, take the hands off it, you'll see it will go all the way down on its own, and it will also do the same if I push up. Now, I wired in the passenger switch, or passenger side, so it will automatically go up and down from my switch and the passenger side. In the end, I went for the slightly harder route. And if you want to do it manually, if you hold that switch for more than a second, it will give you manual control. So what I can do now with it is I can just hold it down and kind of stop around about there. Now if I take the key out the ignition and pretend I'm outside the van and go to lock it on this button, it should automatically put the window up like that. So it has automatic closure system which will do both sides of the van, and it will automatically shut those windows for you if you forget to do it. So really happy with how it worked out in the end. Really definitely a good upgrade for the money. This window kit cost me £119. Like I said, it was from a company called Sesame. I'll try and put the links up in the description to the one I bought. It's a great kit. I have no affiliation with the company at all, but from what I've seen and how it's worked so far, it is pretty good kit, and the instructions with it were quite clear as well, which is always a good thing when you're fitting stuff like that. I hope you found this vlog as ever useful. I hope it's given you an idea or a bit of knowledge if you want to go and fit one of these yourself. Like I said, I can highly recommend them. If you've liked the vlog, please, like ever, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any comments, please drop them in the box below. I'm going to have a few more vlogs coming up from the van, so I have actually fitted some armrests to these seats, which you probably can't see from this camera angle, and I have got a vlog up showing me how you can fit those and what you have to do to the seats and how you take the cover off the seat to do that. And obviously I would like to do a few more of these coming up the future as well, the working on the van type ones. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. If you have liked it and you want to follow the future ones coming up, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one in the future.